everybody, welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back continuing my phase 1 certification on the Pathfinder system. Today we're going to talk about block 8 module 2. We're going to be talking about camp knots. Now you can see me reaching down for my waistline. That's because I have a piece of cordage, a piece of 550 cord. Now this knot right here that you can see, this is a bowline. I'm going to show you how to tie that. Now I do mine a little different. I leave my tail on the outside. That's just a personal twist that I put on it. I think it looks better that way, but I'll show you the bowline. Then we're going to talk about the Canadian jam knot, and last but not least we're going to show a simple trucker's hitch. So let me undo this real quick. So when it comes to the bowline, the first thing I want to do, let me set this blanket down. This end of the rope that goes down to the ground, this long one, this is what we're going to refer to as the standing end. And this short one in my right hand here that's moving, this is going to be known as the working end. So what I want to do to make a bowline is I'm going to take the working end right here and I'm going to make a small loop. And the loop is going to be in front of the standing end. See that? So it's going to come in front. Now we're going to take, so we have a bite in the loop here, a bite in the rope here. So we're going to take the working end and we're going to come up through the back side. We're going to go underneath the standing end and we're going to go back into the loop. So the old story was that the rabbit or the snake came out, took a look, went under the log and went back in his hole. So that was the old story of the bowline. So the bowline looks like this. One of the things I like a lot about this knot is it's very strong and it's easy to undo when it's done. So again, let's do that one more time. So I have the bowline. Okay, so here's the working end right here. I'm going to take the working end, putting it here. Now on the end of the working end we have the snake, right, or the rabbit. The rabbit comes out of the hole, right? Then the rabbit right here, the little head here is the rabbit. He comes looking around, he goes under this log, he looks, and then he gets scared and he runs back in his hole. Look at that. Bam. That's a bowline. Very good, useful knot, very strong. You can put a tremendous amount of weight on this knot, and the cool thing about it is when you're done, it's very easy to untie. Now I'm going to show you another quick variation of the bowline that I like to use, that I think they call it the slippery bowline. So it's one that I really like. So everything is the same. You come through, okay, but instead of sending the rabbit into the hole, you make a bite in the rope here. See that? I made a little pinch here. I made a little bite, and you stick the bite in the hole. Then you pull like this. Now you have 3 pieces of material inside. So the cool thing about this is you have all the strength of a normal bowline, and when you're done you can pull this little tag and it undoes the knot very easily. It's a very quick release option. So that's the bowline. So one more time, the bowline from this point of view, gonna go like this. I'm gonna do the rabbit. He's gonna come through the hole, he's gonna go under the log here, he's going to take a look around, and the rabbit's going to shoot right back into the hole. That, my friends, is the bowline. Honestly, one of my favorite knots. The ancient Egyptian pharaoh Khufu, they found his solar ship. There was an excavation done. I forget what year they did the excavation, 19 something. And when they were looking at his solar ship, they found a knot tied in the rigging, and it was a bowline. That's crazy, because how old was Khufu, right? So this knot's been around a long, long time. This is the Canadian jam knot. This is one of the most simple knots that I know. It's one overhand knot, just like this, and make sure that when you tie the first one that you have a little bit of a tag. I like to use inch and a half, something like that. It doesn't really matter too long how long the tag is. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make another overhand knot with this one through the overhand knot. Now one thing that you want to pay attention to with this knot and how we're going to use it in its application is whatever side that this knot and tail and working end or whatever you want to call it comes out of, we want to go in the opposite side with our thing here. So one of the uses that I like to use this for would be like to secure a blanket. So I have my blanket here. Now you can see again that everything is coming out of this side of the knot. For the Canadian jam, I want to go in the opposite side, just like this. And what's cool about this is when I want to secure like my bedroll, you see that I cinched it up and it stays nice and tight. And I have this handy little tag here that I can pull to release. So again, we're going to go like this, tighten it up, and it bites on itself, it binds on itself, so it doesn't like for bedrolls and things like that around camp, this is a good knot to know. So let me show you that one more time. So we have here our working in. We're going to make a single overhand knot with a little tag. We're going to make another overhand knot, and remember, the side that we go out of, we're going to come in the opposite side with our standing in. Okay, so we're going to go around the object, and we're going to come in the back side like this. Hopefully you can see that. Let me see if I can get you a little closer view here. I'm trying to stress that because that's very important, because if you come in this way, it's incorrect. It's not going to tighten up like you'd like it to. So you want to come this way, the backwards way. So then you get it down here, and then you cinch up whatever it is that you need to cinch. It stays nice and tight for you, and then when you're done, you find this little tag and you pull the tag loose, and then you can get your item out. I would like to talk to you guys about this third knot. This is the trucker's hitch. Now for this, I've got some bright blue cordage here so that it'll contrast against the trees. So I'm going to start here on this end. I have these two trees that are close together so that I can get everything in one shot without having to move the camera a lot. I'm just tying a bowline in this end, and I'm wrapping this around the tree, and I'm pulling the standing end of the rope through that bowline. Now the purpose for the trucker's hitch for me personally is I like to use it for making ridge lines when it comes to putting my shelter up. So what I want to do is I want to take this rope and come to the tree that I want to connect it to. Normally they're a lot farther apart. I'm going to come here, as soon as I touch the tree, I'm going to come back about a foot, and I'm going to create a small slip knot here. Then what I'll do is I'll take this standing in and I'll come around the tree, and all of this rope that came around the tree is going to come through this slip knot, just like this. I'll show a closer angle here in a second. So once I get that through the slip knot, then I can pull this back towards the tree, and what that'll do is that'll tighten up my ridge line. Now once I get the ridge line to the tightness that I like, I'm going to bite it right here with my fingers. Then I'm going to lay everything over just like this, and I'm going to reach through and pull a bite through, and I'm going to jerk it back towards the knot as I release the knot, and that'll leave everything nice and tight. This is my trucker's hitch. The nice thing about this trucker's hitch is when you're finished, you can just pull this off and everything just falls apart. Very easy to undo, just like that. Everything's done, gone, works out real well. So let's do that one more time. So right now I have a rope connected to the other tree. I'm coming over here and I'm touching this tree. I'm going to make a ridge line here. I'm going to come back away from the tree, 12, 14 inches or so, and I'm going to make a slip knot. Okay, just like this. A slip knot is a knot that when you pull, it releases itself. So I need a good slip knot here. Now all this other rope is going to come around the tree, and it's going to come through my slip knot. So all this rope that came around the tree comes through my slip knot. I know this might seem a bit confusing. I use this for a lot of things. I use this not just for my shelter, but I use this to make dog runs and stuff. So here's what we have. Here's our slip knot. We went around the tree. We've came through here, through the slip knot. Now we're going to take this and we're going to create an angle coming back to the tree, and then on that back to the tree angle we're going to pull. That pull is going to tighten up this ridge line. It's nice and tight. So now I want to take my fingers and I'm going to bite these two pieces together. The reason I want to bite those is because I want to try to lock this tightness in. Okay, so I'm locking that in just like that. Now from here I'm going to pull this over above and I'm going to reach my hand through. See that? So I'm creating like with my thumb here, creating a loop, and I'm going through, grabbing here, and I'm pulling a bite through. I'm going to get it close to being tight, and then as I'm getting ready to tight, I'm going to pull back real quick towards the slip knot as I release my hand. Boom. Okay? So my hand was holding, and I jerked back as I released. What that did was that kept everything nice and tight, so I had a good solid tight ridge line. Now from here I can pull this back a little bit, and if you want to put maybe a toggle, piece of a stick or something in there, a tent stake, anything, just something in there so that you can pull this back against it. That way it won't come undone. Then the rest of this you can take, run it around your fingers just like this, and then just kind of clean it up a little bit so that it's not, so you don't have some sloppy ridge line running around. You want your stuff nice and clean and dressed up nice and clean. The reason I like this stuff all nice and clean is because when it's time to go and you got to break your shelter down, which that's why I'm making this ridge line, and that's why I'm using a trucker's hitch, is to make a shelter, right? My ridge line for my tarp shelter. So I like having these little things dangling around, because if it was dark and I'm feeling around in the dark, I can feel this, right? And I can also feel this tent stake or this stick. So at night I come in here, I find this, and I pull that loose, and then I'm like, okay, there's that thing. Boom, right? Then I pass this through my slip knot, back around the tree. Here's what I have. And then let's pull this out. Done. Release my bowline over here. If I use a slippery bowline, it'll be even quicker. And then I have all my cordage ready to throw in my pack, and I'm done. So that's the trucker's hitch. Those are the 3 knots. I want to say thank you guys for joining me today on Block 8, Module 2. We talked about knots today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time in Block 8, Module 3. We're going to be talking about lashings, and I'm going to show you something simple.